welcome to Warhammer Workshop. My name is Amy, and I am joined, as always, by my good friend JF. JF, hello.
Hi, insert pithy comment here.
Yeah. So it's another big week in Warhammer. This time we are on the 40K side. I mean, it's not for us personally.
It's,
Like,
I,
we don't care so much.
I've been enjoying the tail end of these codex releases
Yes.
because they are. Actually, the term 40K tourist has been thrown around recently a lot. Um, but I can say that because of how detached I am from the two armies that are being released and are going to be released,
Mm-hmm.
that is the Astra Militarum and the World Eaters, respectively. Our two armies I don't care about all that
Sure.
much. So I have been a tourist in the sense that I've been looking at it. I've been admiring the scenery, taking a couple of photos here and there, but without really getting involved in the culture.
Yeah. And that's fine. Um,
It died.
yeah. In other news, we did have Adepticon registration this past weekend, which was an adventure, but we all came
It
out of it on the other
was.
side.
We did. There were no casualties.
Well, personally.
I'm
The internet would have you believe otherwise.
The internet is where I go to not get information.
Sure.
The lowdown is CVent, the site that Adepticon uses to basically take care of registration and
Yep.
event management, if you will. Went down half an hour before Adepticon registration started. So by the time Adepticon registration did start, CVent wasn't necessarily blasting on all cylinders.
No.
It was the orc truck of vehicles as far as performance is concerned. Very
Yeah.
ramshackle.
Yeah.
Uh, so things did not go super well. We got a lot of red rings and being
Yes, we did.
re-forwarded to previous pages.
Mm-hmm.
It was unfortunate. A lot of people that were urgently trying to get VIG bags and other limited time goodies got really nervous, and some very, very angry.
So angry.
So angry.
Mm.
So angron. No.
Oh, no.
So but in the end, like, it wasn't Adepticon's fault. A lot
No.
of people are saying, yeah, Adepticon should have hired someone else. It's
No.
Listen, these things happen.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate. I did get into the friendly.
Yeah. Me too.
So did you, rumor
Yeah.
has it.
Oh, yeah.
So
That's the
and
important thing.
I think that as long as you get into the event you wanted, the swag bag that you get, as far as I'm concerned, is probably a little less important.
Yeah.
But that's from my point of view. Like, I don't want to take away from people that go there because they like the sort of gambling surprise of getting these big bags. The VIG bags are always they're legendary. So
Mm.
I understand that it sucks, but it is a thing that
It's
happens.
fine.
But that means we're registered for Adepticon.
We
Hobby New
are.
Year is coming.
It is. It is. And quickly. Oh, boy.
Mhm. And there will be a Games Workshop preview.
There will be. There will be a Games Workshop preview next week at LVO. But we don't know when
Yes,
yet. I just went to go find it, and we don't know when. But when it happens, we'll be here.
I am positive Games Workshop will let us know ahead
Oh,
of
yeah.
schedule, and we will be able to do one of our preview review videos for you all. And I'm excited because we're at this point where for 40K at least, I feel like we're flying over a gulf. Like there's
Yeah.
an abyss under us. I don't know what's next. And LVO is a fairly big event, so I'm looking forward to some big announcements. He
Mm-hmm.
said, about to be disappointed.
That's fine. For this week, however, it is the remainder of the Astra Militarum stuff, finally.
Asterix.
All right.
It is not the full
Well, it's not
remainder.
the final, but it's the codex if you didn't get the box, which is a pretty big one.
Yes. There's a lot of really neat goodies coming out. It's just that
Mm-hmm.
there's one kid in particular that is missing from the lineup that is going to get people a little antsy because it's a good kit.
Okay.
And that's the Rough Riders.
The Rough Riders,
This thing.
you are correct. The Rough Riders are not here yet. It is a good kit. But
Which
we do
is
have
funny because you'd figure they'd get here first.
You would. But what we do have is the Lord Solar, which this was in the package of goodies that GW sent us for a preview. And that's a real pretty model. I don't care.
Did you have time to play with it a bit?
I had time to take the spruce out of the box and go, ooh, spruce.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, it's real pretty. What I did have time for was Ursula Creed, who I built and primed, and she is gorgeous. Love her.
I also built Ursula Creed.
You sure did.
I am not using her as Ursula Creed. We'll get to what I'm doing with her in a few seconds. Let's keep going through this list.
We also have Arcadian Shock Troops. Not a surprise.
Such an exciting kit.
Yeah. I mean, they're nice models for what they are. Like, it's good. They're fine.
I need to not be as judgmental about kits.
Infantry kits are rarely thrilling. They're usually just good.
They're fine.
We also have the Acadian Command Squad, the Heavy Weapons Squad, and the Rogel Dorn Battle Tank.
I had the pleasure of building one of those.
I'm excited to hear about you building that. I have been enjoying your progress.
So anybody that wants to see what I did with it can go see it on our social media. You'll have the links in our video. You can just go to our Twitter or just on YouTube. Well, maybe not on YouTube. Well,
Instagram.
yeah, if you're looking at this on YouTube, you probably are seeing photos right now.
Oh, snap.
Otherwise, so what I did for the listeners who are not looking at the video is I am building a small Astra Militarum force of 7 tanks and 1 flyer, and of course the one of the first things I did is the Rogel Torn tank. So I did build and paint it. It's not super converted. There's a couple of things, mostly like the painting. I went for a crazy cat lady theme. Mostly because I had a leftover frost saber from the Ogre Kingdoms back in the day, and I wanted to use it for something. I'm using Ursula Creed as my main crazy cat lady. I don't know. She has that je ne sais quoi. Like, just she looks a little older than the Escher models I'm using for the rest of my crew in this army.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking for a very punk look, very inspired vaguely by a Tank Girl, the comic book, and I guess the Lori Petty movie also a little bit. It's a really good kit. A lot of how you build this kit is reminiscent of how you're used to building a Le Mans Russ or a Chimera. You've got like the 2 sides where the tracks are like this kind of sandwich where you put tracks on. Except everything feels like it fits better because obviously it's a more recent kit. It comes with a lot of doodads and gimmicks, and also it's very easy to make it so the weapons are interchangeable.
Oh, nice.
Very little work. Like, I didn't have to put magnets, but I did for the main weapon. So I can just swap them on the fly very quickly, and that's super fun. I didn't do the same thing for some of the guns that are on the main hull, but I could have, and it would not have been a big deal. I'm lazy. So it's a very neat kit because although it's big and detailed, it assembles and paints in roughly the same time you would for a Le Mans Russ tank.
Wow.
The one thing that is bizarre is, of all the vehicles Games Workshop did, there's a hole at the bottom. It's not a complete hull underneath. Like, I'd say almost 100% of their other vehicles.
Yeah.
And the only reason I can figure is that they lacked room on the sprue and decided, you know what, it won't matter for this. And they're right.
It's true. It doesn't. Yeah.
It's just weird because we're so used to seeing that.
Right.
Otherwise, like, very fun kits. Like, I honestly, every time I do a new kit from Games Workshop, I'm always impressed at how easily they come together.
Yeah.
And every time there's a little less flash and mold lines to remove, and that's always a good thing.
I mean, part of that is they are brand new molds, so they haven't had time to warp and twist and all of those
Right.
things that
Well,
happen to molds.
yeah, but I mean, plastic injection molds, especially the most recent one, are all like metal, like they're iron, I think, instead of steel. Like
Yeah.
they're really well machined. Like they're not going to see as much wear and tear as like the old molds or resin molds.
Yeah.
So, anyways, it's if you're into Astra Militarum, I'm guessing the rules for the Royal Gold Dorn tank. I mean, to me, I don't know the faction that well, but it looks good.
Yeah.
So if you're planning on having one or two in there, like go in without a care in the world. You'll have a blast building those kits. They are great.
I'm very happy that GW has learned to just let us swap weapons because I feel like for a while there, their thought was like, well, if they have to build it with specific weapons, then they'll buy more of them so that they can have the weapon options. And the answer is we just won't. Like
Yeah,
that's not how it
we'll
works at
find
all.
another way.
Yeah.
But I think that also goes hand in hand in the fact that most of the factions have so many models now that they probably want us to say like, yeah, sure, swap weapons on that one and save your money for those other kits so we
Right.
can move units.
Exactly. We've also got the Field Ordnance Battery, the Sentinel, which comes with both options for the armored or scout. And then I assume these are just repackages that they've put out now.
I didn't go into much detail about the Bane
The
Blade, but it
Bane
looks
Blade,
like
yeah.
they've repackaged it so that every option is in the same kit.
Yeah.
And I can 100% tell you that is what they did for the Le Mans Rust tank, because I'm looking at purchasing some of those for my army, and I had to be careful. The way I was planning is like, all right, do I need the Demolisher? Do I need this other option? Like, which one of the two kits do I need to get to make sure I have the correct ones?
Right.
And that is no longer a worry. I'm just going to get 4 Le Mans Rust bow tank boxes, and everything will be fine.
Which is great. Another A plus. This is what we're talking about.
It's an A plus, but it's my understanding that the price point goes a little bit higher because now they're including more sprues.
Sure.
So I mean, pros and cons. You don't have to worry about it. If you're someone that already had a bunch of Le Mans Rust tanks, though, you're gonna wind up with extra pieces. So maybe you can create some of those weapon swap options
Right.
that you didn't have. Listen, we're like the gaming community, the Warhammer gaming community is a smart community, and we'll figure out how to make it work. But in an industry that already sees kind of high prices, seeing one of the basic kits go up just so that you can have more pieces that you're not necessarily going to use,
Yeah.
and they can take one SKU off of their inventory list, it stings a little bit.
Sure.
But well, listen, it's a premium hobby,
Mm-hmm.
and that's fine.
Mm-hmm. There's also the Primaris Psyker, which was originally from the Blackstone Fortress box. Another one of these.
Listen, I have the Blackstone Fortress box, but I might get that model just to have a second one that's not based as my Blackstone Fortress ones are.
Yeah.
Because it's a cool model.
It is a cool model. And then there's sort of the usual accessories that go along with it, data cards and dice and art prints, etc.
Well, art prints isn't something we see all that often, though.
Sometimes they do, and sometimes they just don't necessarily always advertise it particularly well.
Yeah, well, that's typical Games Workshop. Like they're good at leaving money on the table by not necessarily they'll shout really loud about things that they don't need to, and then they'll keep quiet some of the coolest treasures.
Yes.
It's very weird. I don't have an opinion on the dice. Data cards, I feel, have almost become a necessity.
Yeah.
And I've seen those. They're pretty cool. They're neat. They fit well with the rules. So, huzzah!
Huzzah! And so, as you said, so we don't have the Rough Riders. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we've seen that's not in this list.
There's nothing that comes to mind in the new kits. I think the Rough Riders are the only one, and I bet it's again like just
a delay.
Just shockwaves from all those the production and the supply chain or whatever. Like we're gonna be suffering that for like another year.
Right. But rather than delay the entire release, it's fine. You know they're coming. The rules are in the book. You can plan accordingly, and they'll get here.
Yeah, and it's not like the kits that are coming out are not super rad.
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, those mech guns, I mean, field ordnance batteries are really dope.
Yes.
Look, let's be fair. Like as much as I mocked the Astra Militarum, I am building an Astra
You
Militarum
are.
force
Right
so
now.
they won.
Yeah, they did. Amazing.
Success. Well done, Games Workshop. Again.
Then we move
And
over.
I was gonna say just like and for people to say, yeah, but you got your roll gold on free. Yes, but I am forking over money for 4
The
Lemand
rest
Rust
of it.
tanks. I
Yeah.
bought a Forge World plane, and I'm gonna need 2 more tanks after that. Like
Yeah.
I am digging into my pocket. For
First
this.
one's free, baby.
Yeah, it is.
Moving over to Necromunda, some models that we were very excited about, at least on a aesthetic level. And it's the corpse harvesting party.
There's no party like a corpse harvesting
There ain't no
party.
party like a corpse harvesting party.
I love these guys so much.
I love this kit so much. It is Forge World resin. We did also receive this bad boy. And it's a lot. And so I have not had the bandwidth to sit with all of this resin and make sure that I don't mix up a bunch of pieces. But they are so pretty.
In my defense, I've been busy painting a
Rogaldorn
Rogaldorn tank and a Voss pattern lightning fighter.
Yeah,
that's it.
yeah,
That's
something
fine.
like that.
Yeah, I got like it's a lot of words in that name.
Yeah, I mean, I do have other redacted projects in the works.
That's it. We're busy,
Yeah,
but they are cool kits. I can tell you, like. That's the thing. The stigma of resin infantry model because of Finecast has sort of remained. It's left a bitter taste that I'm not sure is as warranted as it once was.
Oh, and I mean, for me, it's just that it's a different workflow than my normal plastic models, right? Like I gotta prepare ahead. I have to wash and dry them. Like I have to think ahead. I can't just sit down and build them.
Yeah,
I have to plan ahead, and that has not been in the cards of late.
Yeah, it's not the same as just putting old episodes of Bob's Burgers and sitting down and just zoning out as you're putting models together.
Exactly,
so it is a different thing.
But I am really thinking about doing a Necromunda project for this year, once our Hobby New Year rolls around, and so I am excited that these are here for me to do stuff with. So we'll see how that goes.
I built and primed a bunch of Delax that I haven't done anything yet with. Same for all the Hive War terrain that is built and ready to go. Like
we are at any given point 30 seconds away from starting Necromunda.
I am literally a 2-week window with nothing else to do away from getting into Necromunda. Pretty hardcore. So
it's inevitable. It's just a matter of time.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But that's not it for Necromunda this week. We also have Rex Spires and Estus Jet. 2 more hired guns.
I absolutely adore when they put out named hired guns and just like these are their names, like we're supposed to go, oh, those guys.
I do like that the guy with dynamite does have 2 artificial arms. That's some big Overwatch energy right there. It's good.
As a Canadian, I was thinking more that it has some July 4th energy, but okay.
That too.
This guy has starred in many a YouTube video with firecrackers. I mean, he's also got a robotic leg. Like it's going well.
Yeah, he is but he's still doing it though.
I mean, listen, when you have a passion.
And then on the Goliath side, a beefy hunk of resin in Ajax Goroth, Lord of the Fist.
I think his real name should be Ajax Goroth, Angron fanboy.
Yeah. He does have some Venture Brothers energy with his Baron Underbite Iron Jaw.
Yes.
He's cool looking, but I mean, Goliaths are not for me, but he's pretty.
He is.
He's pretty mean looking. Angron
There's
fanboy is very good.
or cosplayer. Like there's
Yeah.
definitely like this is a guy who he got rejected from from being a space marine. Something about his application not being submitted in time. He said, "Screw it, I'm doing it anyways." No, he's great. I love Goliath because they all look like they have a side gig at Chippendales, and it's amazing.
Yeah, or they're all bouncers at some bar, like on the weekends.
They're all bouncing at the same bar. The
Yeah,
rest of their gang is dancing at. So
yeah. So
it's good.
that's it for this week's pre-orders. It's a lot of good stuff. If this is the good stuff for you, and if not, there is inevitably more just around the corner, which is it's a wild time.
Been a wild time for 2 years.
Yeah. So speaking of more things that are coming soon, still in the Necromunda side. So we got the Ripperjacks back, right? That was a few weeks ago. And they announced them and put them out like immediately, which was very jarring. I will have to pick some up. Maybe that's an Adepticon purchase. But
maybe.
They have also announced another Beastmaster with Millisars.
Listen. The moment the Ripperjacks were announced, the Millisars were coming.
Absolutely.
I am not 100% sure because that is a while ago, in the 25 to 30 years ago range.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they shared a blister. Like you would get a blister with 2 Ripperjacks and 2 Millisars because they were tiny little metal models back in the day.
That makes sense.
I'm not sure. They may have been separate blisters. This is just how I remember it, but
Mm-hmm.
they were definitely the same flavor, and they were meant to be used with the one supplement they put out for Necromunda back in the day.
Yeah.
It's great that they're back.
Mm-hmm.
I think I made the joke with you that the new flashlight models were looking a little sus.
Little shady. Yeah.
A lot of
Shai
Dune
Halud
energy.
is here, and we're good to go. Yeah. The fact that
go ahead.
The fact that the Beastmaster is like wearing one
so good.
It's the guy, right? Like it's the guy with the tiger head and skin on that's trying to blend in is what this guy's energy is. It's very good.
Instead of being like a majestic king of the jungle, he is wearing what is essentially a giant mutant lamprey.
Yeah.
It's
beautiful. Good.
He's got a hunch a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I am disappointed that they're painted in what are kind of bland colors, because back in the day, like the Millisars and the Ripperjacks were painted like a very garish purple, had a little soupçon of the Gene Stealer cult to them, and maybe that's why they're not.
Like I think they're trying to go with like the ash waste sort of camouflage.
Yes,
thing,
because
which is fine.
This is for ash waste, not specifically, but
that's where we're at.
Yeah, and if you look at their bases, these are not under hive bases. So.
No, but they are very cool.
They are
stupid Necromunda, so very cool.
Stupid, sexy Necromunda.
I do still like every time they announce these new characters and stuff. I'm like, I have no idea what they're doing with this game. I mean, I'm here for it. I love all of the models, but I have no idea what's happening.
I look at it the same way I look at star players for Blood Bowl, in the sense that they feel like something that's very corner case, but they also feel like the kind of model that if you've already got the 2 or 3 gangs you wanted for Necromunda, and you see these cool things come out, like, why not?
Yeah,
they're a good little addition to add flavor and variety to what's available. I think this is a hired gun too, so
yep, sure is.
There you go.
I like it. So, this year is the 40th anniversary of Warhammer?
I did a little bit of math and realized that it has been a while since I have been in the hobby longer than the hobby has existed without me.
Yeah.
I, and that hits different. Like,
It's only going to
I
get
mean,
worse, my dude.
oh no, I know how math works. And yeah, no, it's not gonna get better.
No.
But at the same time, it's very because I made the joke about like Warhammer tourists, and I at a certain point you realize as stupid as a term is, I am so far removed from that. I am
You're
part of
the
the furniture at this point.
Yeah, you're the old guy that runs the gas station that warns those kids not to go up there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like,
I
oh,
know.
you guys going to come in? Like, get while you're filling up, you can get some fried chicken.
Yeah.
But I was mentioning, like, I've been here since like Necromunda first edition, and being told, yeah, welcome to 40th, like the 40th anniversary is intimidating.
Mm-hmm. So, at the very least, they are giving us a showcase of miniatures through the years. We've had the first couple today of notable miniatures. And there's some doozies in there because it's good old Slambo. Like original
Slambo.
old school Slambo. Oh boy. Those models sure were something.
I mean, I love that we have revisited Slambo since.
I do too. But, and that's the thing, right? Because New Slambo did a really good job of holding on to the essence of original Slambo.
He sure
but
did.
Updating the overall aesthetic. 2 axes,
I do like
no
when
waiting.
you do that. That is good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We also have the very first Space Marine. And it does look like it's also the very first paint job.
It's everyone's first paint job. Yeah. Well, it was a different time. We're all using, enamels and.
Did you paint your first model with enamels? I sure did.
Not my first Warhammer models because I'm comparatively late to the hobby. I mean, it's been a decade and a half, but that is comparatively. I still feel like I'm brand new. But
believe me, there are people who claim to be veterans of the hobby
who
have been here
way
less than you
I
have.
know. So no, I never painted my Warhammer models with enamels, but I did build some model cars back in the day. And those
I did not know that about you. Yeah. I've painted model cars also.
Yeah.
A lot of them badly.
Oh, very badly. Very badly. But I did it. It was great. Now I want to get into Gundams because why not? Just complete the trifecta. Warhammer, model cars, Gundams. There we go. I'm done.
I have some very high quality. I have a Gundam robot bear
you
that
do.
I'm working on very slowly. It will eventually be completed. But I also have a very high quality, I think it's from Bandai, a model from a Neon Genesis Evangelion.
There you go.
My brother brought me back from Japan.
Excellent.
The instructions are inscrutable to me.
Yeah. Reddit will help you, I'm sure.
The images are I'm gonna take a stab at Games Workshop here. The images to assemble those Japanese models are way more descriptive than what, like, if you can build a Games Workshop model, you can you'll be fine with what they give you for those Bandai models because they are visually rich.
I'm going to say that while we were prior to recording this show, we were recording 40K Radio, available wherever fine podcasts are found. And while we were doing that, I was building a model that is redacted that I cannot talk about right now. But I did spend a good 10 minutes with 2 pieces in my hand, twisting them every which way and looking at the instructions going, I don't understand. And then all of a sudden, click. And I was like, what? It was the USB problem, right? Where like you put it in and then you turn it and It was the same thing. I was like, I definitely did that before, but okay, I
So
guess.
I don't want to go too deep on a tangent about assembling models because we could be here a long while. But
Yeah.
one of the things that worries me when this happens is usually I try to dry fit my pieces before I glue them.
Yeah.
And I will find that little miracle, like that's
Yep.
very specific angle that they need to be in. And then I am worried that I'm going to
You're
pull them
never gonna get
apart,
that.
put glue, and never find it again.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's terrifying.
I was tempted to just slap a little plastic glue on the back and hope, but I didn't. I tried to do it right, but here we are.
So
It's
yeah,
fine.
it's everything's great.
Yeah, so that's all we've gotten so far for the 40th anniversary, but they have promised that there is more coming.
Games Workshop takes the birthdays of their shops, of their games, and of the company very seriously.
Yeah.
So 40 years, like 4 decades of Warhammer, I'm eager to see how they're gonna shape that.
Yeah. Me too. I hope it's good. I hope there's good things. As they point out, the very first Space Marine was a beaky boy, which I am very pleased about. I do like a beaky boy.
Not as beaky as others. I'm looking forward to seeing what they're gonna do. Usually, what I can expect is that they're going to do the same thing they did with Slambo. They're gonna pick a really old model that looks stupid, and they're gonna give him a fresh look. Wouldn't it be something if they did Yarrick?
Oh, oh boy! You know what they should do?
Yarrick.
Well, they should do Yarrick, but you know what else they should do? They should re-release Goblin Green.
Oh, the pot?
Yeah.
The bottle of Goblin Green?
Yeah, for your base rims.
Oof.
I know. I mean, I wouldn't do it, but it was an aesthetic. It was a time. Like I said, when you look at a painted miniature, you can usually establish within about 2 years when it was painted. It's magical.
I'm gonna vote no.
Okay.
I think they can do something.
I mean, they can do more than that. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, if that's the only thing, let's not.
No,
but
no. Put out the old hex pot of Goblin Green. Have a good day, everybody.
So one of the last things I want to hit is we did get a little video. I honestly don't know when this came out.
Middle of December, according to the date on it.
And somehow that completely slipped our notice.
Yeah, we saw the other ones.
Yes, we did see the other ones, but we didn't see this one. And I feel like we need to at least mention it as a news podcast. It's old news at this point, but they put out a Warhammer Horus Heresy glimpse at next year's models video.
Yeah,
and there's some of the stuff that we already knew was coming out, like the Horus Ascended model, and
which is already in the hands of some of the pro painters, and I don't want it. It's resin. I don't want it. It's resin. I don't want it. It's resin.
It is a cool looking model. There's no doubt about that. Not being a Horus fan myself, what's cool about it to me is that maybe there
could be other ones.
Yeah, there could be others. I wouldn't mind seeing a Mortarion Ascended, like somewhere between normal Mortarion and his Demon Prince 40K version, something between that. But the video does show us like other like silhouettes of what looks like a good collection of assassins. We've seen what they've done for Horus Heresy or Assassins so far, and it's all been very good.
Yeah.
So I'm very much looking forward to that. There's another tank that seems to be a Forge World translation. I haven't looked up exactly which one, but if you look at the video and you're a Horus Heresy player, you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
What stood out the most to me was at the very end. They seem to suggest that we're going to get the Horus Heresy Space Marine jet bikes.
Yeah.
And you had not seen those before. I
had not.
Had you? I
had not, because Horus Heresy, relatively new thing for me. Yeah, so I had not seen them.
A feast for the eyes.
They are something else. They sure
And judging by
are.
that silhouette, they are not
No
shying
different.
away from that.
No.
From that, shall we say, thematic?
Yeah, they've got an aesthetic, and
They certainly
and
do.
they've stuck with it, which
Yes,
is
they
fine.
have.
That's good.
No, it's
Stand by your convictions, G-dubs. We are here for it.
yes, and listen, it's juvenile humor.
Mhm.
If you've seen the jet bikes, you'll get it.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they're not deviating away from what Forge World
Yeah.
has put out. I'm hoping and assuming that these are going to be plastic, but it does look like Horus Heresy is like proving me very wrong. Is really has some legs, and they're really going all in with the plastic models, and
Yeah.
I'm actually enjoying it. I haven't had time to finish painting more than a few models, so I'm not
Yeah.
ready to play the game. But I have friends who are and are waiting for me. So when I do have my army, I'll be able to jump right in. And I'm not hating it. I thought this would be something that I would be a spectator of, and I'm
Mhm.
not. And
It's weird.
It's
That's
very weird.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is another another exciting time to be in the hobby. And if you're a hobby magpie, it's a very stressful time to be in the hobby.
Yes, it is.
Every week, something new and shiny to capture your attention. On that note, I do believe that is about it for this week. As we mentioned, there is inevitably going to be an LVO preview. And as soon as we know when that is, we will plan our preview review, and you will hear about it on this channel and on all of our social media.
And if we did miss something, just tell us in the comments. Let
Yeah,
us
yeah.
know. Like,
We'll
get
talk
in
about
touch
it.
with us and point the finger and laugh at our lacks. But
There's been a
one thing
lot.
you have to admit, there is a lot, and there is always a lot.
Yeah.
It's good to be a hobbyist.
Mm-hmm. So until next week, all of our contact information is in the description. And happy hobbying. Materials shown in this video are provided fully or in part by Games Workshop for promotional purposes. If you enjoyed this video, please consider dropping us a like and subscribing. Thanks for watching.